So at this time, I want to bring up an individual that, again, has been supporting us, especially for this awards dinner. He is a huge individual in the community as far as working. He's a teacher, an educator, but before that, he is an athlete. Mr. Reggie Grant is an ex-NFL football player. He played with the New York Jets and Jets, Jets. And so he's been very supportive throughout the community again and through with this organization. So I wanted to bring him up. And this is specifically geared towards the individual, the youth in the room tonight. Because we want to make sure that they understand that they're honored and they're respected. All the information that you have in your brain is honored. We need to know. We need to work with you on the information that you get. So we want to continue to interject. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up Mr. Reggie Grant, guest speaker here tonight.
Good evening, I'm Reggie Grant. As you said, I'm a teacher, taught in the public school system for 11 years. I taught at Gompers, Southgate, Lusinger. I am an academic warrior. As you said, I played a little football, went to the University of Oregon. That's how I paid for my college education. And of course, I had an opportunity to play professional as well for the New York Jets, played up in Canada and Ottawa. But football for me was a vehicle. It was like a car. And I used that car to take me as far as I could take it. And then I got into another car. So young man, this is about honoring you and helping you to understand that it's not about where you come from, it's about where you go. Let me reiterate. Let me say that one more time. It is not about where you come from, it's where you go. I'm from Greenbrier Avenue Projects in Atlanta, Georgia. My parents moved to Seattle, Washington when I was 6. I had an opportunity then to live in High Point Projects. And then go to the University of Oregon. I'm an anomaly. I'm a statistical thing that says I should not exist. I should be dead, in jail, or somewhere doing something, homeless on 6th and San Pedro somewhere. But I'm not. Because I understood, and my parents understood, and they instilled in me and my brother and my sister that education was the opportunity for me to have a different kind of life. My mother had me when she was 17, and she eventually got a high school diploma. My father never graduated from high school, but he ended up working for Boeing in Seattle for 28 years. He taught me work ethic and determination and focus, and to use the things that you have, and the most important muscle that you have in your body is your brain. And again, I am an educator. Right now I teach at Kappa International. So I have an opportunity today to have a kid from Saudi Arabia, Russia, China, Korea, and 4 or 5 other countries in my classroom. I'm teaching international university students English. And again, I was a public school teacher for 11 years. And it's so interesting, they come over here and they take advantage of the opportunity. America is the best place in the world. It is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But there is no other better place in the world where you can go out and do whatever you want to do if you take advantage of the opportunity. And that's why foreigners come here, and everybody in the world wants to be here, and everybody in the world wants to be like Americans. Again, it's not perfect by any stretch of imagination. And everybody in here should take your kid to see that new movie that came out, The Butler, so that you understand where you come from and the stock that you come from and where you are and why we are the strongest people on the planet, in my humble opinion. Nobody has had the opportunity to do things that we've done. Nobody's overcome the challenges that we've faced. And I talked to my mother this weekend. It was funny, we talked about the good old days. The good old days were always good. They're old, but they weren't always good. But we had each other. We depended on each other. And again, my parents instilled in me the fact that I needed an education. At 12 years old, my mother told me, Reggie, you need to get an education because you do not like to take orders. You do not like to take orders. Okay, I can deal with that. And I really didn't hit to a couple of years later. And I realized that the people that run the world have college educations. They're not the 1%ers necessarily, but they run the world. They determine who gets a job, who gets the opportunity to walk in the door and to prove whether or not you can do something. It's college education. So in 10th grade, I realized that I needed one of them pieces of paper. Not to say that I was smart, not to validate who I am, but just so that I could get in the door. And once you're in the door, you can prove who you are and what you can do. But you can't if you're not in the door. That's why the young men and young ladies, it's all about education. Sometimes my youngest daughter, she cries when I make her do her homework, because I'm honored, because I understand the power. Again, I am not supposed to be standing here in front of you today. I've seen every city you can see in the United States of America. I've been to Japan, I've been to Korea, I've seen every city in the country of Canada. Most of the time, somebody else paid me to go there. Whether I was a college football player or a professional football player, or when I worked in corporate America, I was vice president of a company called Nice Software. Every time we used something that in Windows, these people invented it. But Bill Gates is the best software in the world. So he owns it. They exist, but Bill is the man. Okay, so I've had opportunities based on, again, football was my vehicle. When the tires fell off, I got out of it, got me another car. I had a 1965 Mustang, was my first car. And then eventually when I was drafted by the Jets, I had a 5-speed TR7 with overdrive. So I was, then I had some Mercedes and some other stuff. I had some bad cars too. Made some money, lost some money. But the most important thing is, it was my money to make and lose. I made it. Didn't mind to give me a dime. So anything that I have, I've earned. And when people piss me off because I have an education, because I have the diploma, because I have a degree, because I have knowledge, I just tell them, I'll give me another job. Peace. I'm out. I don't have to take your stuff. It's all about empowerment. You have to empower yourself. Nobody should be able to determine who you are. Nobody tells me who I am or what I can do. I don't ask for permission, I ask for forgiveness. I just do it. I had a little tax service in Oceanside, California. They said, they're going to let you open a tax service in Oceanside, California, downtown, next to City Hall. Oh my God. I didn't ask for permission. When I sold that tax service, I had 300 clients. And I walked into a building that had 8 multimillionaires and learned a little about real estate. So you never stop learning. But you should never, never, never let somebody determine who you are, or your value, or what you're worth. That's all about you. Forget them other people. Okay? Again, football was my vehicle. I thought I was going to play in the NFL forever. But I went to class. So when I got drafted by the Jets, I had one incomplete class I needed to graduate. So I was ready, regardless of what happened. Football was a way for me to open some doors. It was not who I was. This summer I had an opportunity to teach some kids from France, Paris, France. They were here for about 2 weeks. And I'm talking to a kid, and the kid, is a high school senior, was a college freshman, and he goes, man, you live the American dream. I hadn't thought about it like that. I had not even thought about my life as being the American dream. I still got bills and a mortgage, and oh man, I need some more money. I need some more money. My kids want to eat more than once a day. They're serious about that. But he said, you live the American dream. And I wasn't a first-round draft pick. I got hurt my junior year in college. Went from a second or third-round prospect to a ninth-round pick. Played that first year as a rookie year, made the team, 17 defensive backs in camp. They cut 12, 66 corners, 7 corners. They kept 3 of us, 2 of us were rookies. Weeding out process. But it was okay. You compete. Life is about competition. In America, everything's about competition. People don't ask you for permission, they just do it. That's what you have to do. You have to get into that mindset is, I can do anything I want to do. Michael Jordan, where was he from? Anybody know where he was born? Yes.
Wilmington, North Carolina.
Brooklyn, New York. Dwayne Wade, where's he from? Where's Dwayne Wade from? Chicago, Illinois. What about Sidney Poitier? Sidney Poitier, one of the greatest actors of all time, a man that opened many, many doors. Born in Miami, grew up in Bermuda. What about President Obama? Yes. Where in Hawaii? That's okay, Honolulu. Ray Lewis, Super Bowl champion, where's he from? Barlow, Florida. Abraham Lincoln, we all know who he is, where's he from? Hodgenville, Kentucky. You'll never know about that. Johnny Cochran, where's he from? Anybody know where Johnny Cochran's from? Good guess. Shreveport, Louisiana. And again, as I said, I was born in Atlanta, Georgia. My parents at 6 took me, my brother, and my sister and moved to Seattle, Washington, so that we have an opportunity to learn how to compete, to get an education. And then again, I've had a charmed life, an exceptional life. Not always perfect, not always easy. I made money, lost money, but it was my money. Mine. I made it. Nobody gave it to me. I just went out and took it. Went out and took it. That's what you have to do. And when you go in that classroom, you have to compete. I remember being in the teacher's program when I got my teacher's certificate. And some of them people that didn't look like me was like, oh no, Reggie's coming in here. Oh no. And my presentation was bam. So that you couldn't tell me that mine wasn't either the best or one of the best that you see in that stack right there. No doubt. There was no opportunity for you to tell me I wasn't good enough. I am exceptional. I don't ask for anybody's permission. When my wife met me, she said I was the most arrogant person she ever met in her life. Didn't talk to me for 5 years. 5 years. I have self-confidence because I know who I am. I know where I come from. I know what I know, and you can't tell me any different. I don't have to ask for you to validate me. And that's what I want to tell these young people. Nobody has to validate you. It's all about what you know. Now, no one can take what you know away. No one can take away what you know. This place here, Hal and Betty, they have this great facility here, which is awesome. But Hal is in the Smithsonian. That means long after he's gone, his name and his legacy's there. He was one of those pioneers that opened the door so that you can do whatever it is you want to do. So don't forget where you come from. Don't underestimate the power of being who you are and your roots. And I can try to instill that in my children all the time. Be strong. Be a competitor in the classroom. Don't try to get a seat. I had a young man, we do some scouting and recruiting, help kids get to college scholarships in football and now basketball. But his grades is kind of messed up. I can't do anything for it. I'm on the board of directors for the National Livestock Record Athletes. For the past 23 years, we presented the premier award in the nation for African American male high school scholar athletes. So one of our young men is Brian Rowe, who is a Rhodes Scholar. We've had the third overall pick, which was Gerald McCoy when he came out. Ted Ginn, when he came out, was the 6th overall pick. This year you had Eric Reed from LSU, who was the 18th overall pick. But these guys have 4.0s coming out of high school. They're serious about their business. They understand no matter how fast you run, how high you jump, it's going to end. Sometime it is going to end. There's only one LeBron making $100 million. It's like, I'm going to be a football player. Well, you know, there's 2.5 million young men playing high school football. There's about 13,000 to 50,000 that play some sort of college football. About 13 to 15,000 of those guys are on scholarship. Some of them go to class. More of them do now than when I was in school, because everybody thought they was going to be in the pros. And again, I played with 10, 12 guys that ended up in the pros. And I went to Oregon, University of Oregon, Ducks, go, quack, quack. But they only draft 325 people. 32 teams, 7 rounds, 325 opportunities. There's only 1,800 jobs in the NFL. The average guy is going to play 3 years. You need 3.5 to get retirement. So the numbers are worked out. It's not in your favor. If you get that opportunity, great. You have some education, you can leverage it to something else and have a good life. If you don't, worst case scenario, you leverage that vehicle, that ability to run fast and jump high to get a college education. Then you have a life after the fun part. And again, it's all about trying to maximize your opportunities with your brain. The body will go. Someday you'll be old and fat like me, but I'm still cute. Okay, so again, that's my message. It doesn't matter where you come from. It only matters where you go. So don't let anybody determine your value except you. I'm Reggie. Have an exceptional evening, and I want to just thank the board of directors of the H.O.O.P Foundation for the opportunity of things that you're doing. They are outstanding. Come on, the H.O.O.P Foundation. Come on, they are here working night and day for your children. They're not their own children. They're working for their kids to help them understand that they are somebody, and nobody should determine who they are except them. Thank you so very much.